Okay, here we go. Let's get our feet. Get our feet.
Did you give him the knob?
Yeah, maybe. Wow. Isn't that weird? That's weird sand. Oh man.
Look at these leaves stumps. They bury them in the sand. And it takes anywhere from 4 to 6 hours to fully cook the pig, depending on the size, weight, and number of pigs being cooked.
I don't know, but I just hurt my shoes doing that.
Now this kalopua is not only used for demonstration purposes, but will also take it back in preparation for this evening's luau feast. As you see the steam rising from the imu, this is a good indication that our kalopua has been properly prepared and it is ready for this evening's feast. I encourage you all to try this type of cooking because this recipe has been handed down through many, many generations. Not only royalty have feasted on our kalopua, but other guests such as yourselves as well. We have a traditional way of finding out who's going to take up those hot stones from the kalopua. Looks like and there you have it, family. Now keep in mind these stones are still very hot, and we can still use them to cook for at least a couple more hours. So our hemo attendants are working very hard for you this evening. How about a round of applause for our hardworking hemo attendants? Once again, family, I encourage you all to try this type of cooking. Cookie! There you have it, our widely roasted piggy main course for this evening. How about a round of applause for our hemo attendants? Be one of the best tattoo artists here on the
Right. One more time to the left. Oh, we're having so much fun. Let's keep this up. Here we go. Keep it going. To the right. To the left. To the right. And company host. Come on, family, round of applause. You're doing great, ladies. So this is
Now, another commonly asked question is, why do you call each other uncle, auntie, and cousin? It's simply the way we were raised. See, if there were 10 homes on the street that I lived on, and probably there's a lot of similarities for many of us.
away. Again with the right foot, bend. Away. Again with the left foot, bend. Away. Pick up the pace. And right foot bent away, left foot bent away, right foot bent away. We call this the funky chicken.
facilities on this island that actually had been bombed and strafed before the attack finalized that morning at Pearl Harbor. Delos was one of those spots. We're coming of this huge, massive volcanic crater. So when you look at the area on our left, can you imagine if that completely encircled us? So we would be driving through the middle of this volcano, and it is said that about 800,000 years ago, they had this balls in a round of golf, you're doing great. On that course, if you're not on the fairway, you're in the gully. So you also compete against the wind swirling at the base of the mountain. I played that course about a year ago, took 22 balls at me, came back with 16. Not bad, right? Yeah, but the 16 I came back with weren't mine. Get your cameras ready because we're going through two short tunnels. The first one, right after we break, they start snapping. We're talking about sheer cliffs. There we go. Get yourselves ready. Take the shots. So we're going to be right above this tunnel, folks. That's going to put us 1,100 feet above sea level. Now remember I mentioned that we had two sides to an island, right? Leeward and windward. And the way to differentiate between the two was that the windward side had sheer cliffs, and leeward side, the mountain ridges would taper towards the ocean, and our valleys are created by rivers and streams. So to go to and from work each and every day. But can you imagine coming home at the end of the day, parking your car, looking across the roadway, then trying to decide where they're going to swim, surf, fish, or grab a six-pack of beer and sit in the shade of a tree? Could you imagine the stress levels they must go through trying to reach a decision like that, folks? And all of our beaches, we don't have private beaches now, all of our beaches, even in front of those multi-million-dollar homes that we saw in Kahala, as well as in front of the major resorts throughout Waikiki, all of our beaches are public. We do not have any private beaches here. Now this community, Kahala, if you're looking to buy a property here, a home, you won't find anything below 7. Kind of like on the top of the rock there, back of the lion's head. Can you see that there again, folks?
Yeah.
Keep your eye on it. I gotta keep my eye on the road. Should be almost over your left shoulder in a second. And you know, they even have a restaurant called Crouching Lion Inn. The problem is, in the past, we used to come up and bring our visitors or our guests for lunch. The problem is, within a 4-year span, the restaurant was sold 4 different occasions.
We had lunch there 40 years ago.
Is that the same gentleman that found the bikini in the back there, that valley, Kahana Valley? That's considered to be one of the wettest spots on this side of the island. Kahana Valley averages 231 inches a couple of times, folks. Here we go. There we go, right here. It looks like the mouth is open, right?
Yeah.
So you're seeing things, huh? Now you did say that the mouth was open, folks?
Yep.
Okay. The group, come tomorrow morning. We're going to go down to the nearest photocopy center. We're going to have 3 copies made that have it FedEx to our kids back home. Would you? Isn't that a beautiful spot?
Yeah.
Mr. Sullivan, he's gone now, but if you ever had a chance to meet him, you wouldn't think that he was this so-called well-off guy. In many instances, you'd probably think, seeing him just walk the streets, he was somewhat homeless. During the summer, sailboats and yachts anchored right in the middle of the bay. And you know, the water's a little rough today, but it's upward. It's a beautiful sea. Salty that. Then you take a can of Spam, cut it into little cubes, throw that in. They actually dug a tunnel and had the water flow from the windward side to this area to help irrigate the fields. So this is that little irrigation ditch we're going to be passing. You see part of it on the right, and from this point forward, it was pineapple. Pineapple to the left, pineapple to the right. As far as your eyes can see, pineapple, pineapple, pineapple. I hate pineapples. You know when you have too much of one thing when you grow up, right? If it's the female nurses to stay, they gave them 1 day off and then come home on her day off. But you know, she's gone now, and only in her latter years did she share some of it. It was in the early 1820s, and that was with the arrival of the missionaries. So prior to their arrival, all of our history was passed down to our chants that we call. What was her question?
See the highway on the left side of the mountain? Do I see that highway?
Oh, there's a
That's the same one we just passed back there.